Yo, what is going on YouTube? I am Germ here. Today, we need to talk about Cloud9 because I really think that they were the biggest story this past weekend in competitive League of Legends, not just in the LCS, but even there was a ton of LEC, commentators, analysts, content creators, pro players, people, fans who normally don't watch LCS who were talking about the LCS for a ton of different reasons. One, because LS is so polarizing. There's rage watchers tuning in to see them fail. There's everyone who loves LS tuning in to see him, hopefully succeed, which is even brings in, a Korean audience and stuff as well. And then you have the interesting drafts from them. You have the exciting play. You also have the interesting players. Fudge is starting to build a really big brand for himself. Blabber is a multiple-time MVP. Berserker is being hyped up as one of the best AD carry prospects really in the world. And I truly do believe that. And then Summit is being, hyped up as maybe the best top laner, which would then mean one of the best players in the LCS. This Cloud9 team is flat out interesting. And this weekend they just had was very interesting, very entertaining, and we need to talk about it. So definitely drop a like if you guys do enjoy this video. I would appreciate that a ton. And subscribe to stay up to date on all my latest content. That would be absolutely amazing as well. Help us run those numbers up a little bit. Hey, we're in some rough times, but we're going to get through this. I promise the numbers are going to start going back up, and we can get there a little bit faster with your guys' help. Click that button. But with that being said, let's get right into this. So first thing I wanted to note a little bit is the fact that Cloud9, historically, they're one of the more popular teams in the LCS. Obviously, they're pretty consistently the second or third most popular team. It's been TSM, it's been Cloud9, it's been TL. It's kind of switched off depending on, is TSM good, is TL good, is Cloud9 good, or just kind of meh, whatever. Some people think that 100 Thieves is on the rise, and 100 Thieves is a very, very popular team in org, but their viewership hasn't really been there for League of Legends. They're kind of more popular in content creation in general, and lifestyle, and vlogging, and Valorant and stuff like that. They haven't really been huge in League of Legends yet. And then the other teams are just far away. Evil Geniuses is maybe on the rise. Other than that, a lot of the teams are not very big. So it kind of alternates. But this weekend, when you take a look at the viewership, you will see here, peak viewership in the LCS was 230,744 viewers. That's not bad, that it's just not bad. It's not amazing, it's not great. I don't believe that's really even close to what like Lock-In did last year, and overall numbers are a little bit down this year, but 230,000 is not bad, especially for a regular season game. We hope numbers will ramp up when we get into the playoffs, especially when we get into like the finals and stuff, and then hopefully we have an interesting LCS team going to MSI that can help build up a bunch of hype and excitement for the summer. But anyway, Cloud9 against Evil Geniuses. Again, playing against EG, who is not necessarily a huge team, not necessarily a huge brand, not necessarily a huge draw. You will see that EG's other game does not rank in the top 5 here, which is pretty interesting because EG's other game was against TSM. So you have C9 EG pulling 230,000 views, and then you have TSM, who's historically always the biggest team in the LCS, always the most viewership. If TSM is a good team and they're competing in finals, they're playing against other teams, they usually have the highest viewership. Now, they haven't really had the highest peak viewership these last couple of years because they haven't been making a ton of deep runs. They haven't been making it to the finals consistently, and finals is always going to trump stuff. But again, for the regular season, TSM has been one of the most popular teams, and TSM EG didn't do anywhere near the numbers that C9 against EG did. And then you'll also see out of the top 5 matches this weekend, C9 is the only team that appears twice. You have C9 GGS as the 5th most popular game from this weekend, and then you have C9 EG as the most popular game this weekend, which I just think is, a little bit interesting. Obviously, there's a ton of different factors here. It depends what games happened when, and, who your opponent is, how long the game went, what the storylines were going into your games, everything like that. But again, you see like TSM. They're 4th. That's TSM Dig, and TSM's other game isn't even in the top 5. You have TL 100 Thieves. Very, very hype matchup. Potentially the 2 best teams in the LCS. Underperforming C9 EG, and then TL's other game, you won't find it here. 100 Thieves' other game, you won't find it here. So yeah, just kind of interesting. People are really, really hyped up and excited about C9 right now, so that's awesome. And then obviously, as far as their games went, their games were really, really crazy. And there is so much discussion here. Obviously, in the Golden Guardians game, we saw the Ivern mid with the Sona support. And hey, Berserker 203, he was clean. Blabber 4-0 on the Gwen, and then Fudge and Winsome just kind of popping off on their enchanters, looking really really good. But hey, maybe Golden Guardians isn't the strongest team, but everyone was really impressed with EG. They were just playing in the lock-in finals, and again, another awesome performance from Cloud9. 8-0 from Berserker on the Aphelios. He is looking so good to start the season. I'm so excited for this guy. Again, like I said, I think this guy is potentially one of the best, if not the best, AD carry prospects in the world, from what I've heard from people and from what I've seen so far. And having him in the LCS is amazing. Winsome popping off, Blabber, the Olaf, hey, you can't beat him, and then Fudge obviously pulling out his second enchanter. They shut down a lot of what EG was trying to do. Impact 8-3 on Tryndamere, but other than that, what did they do? 1-2 on Jinx, 0-3 Leona, 0-5 Jojo Pune Victor. Hey, a really hot start for Cloud9. I know there is a lot of discussion whether or not they cheesed these wins. I don't really think that's too fair. Like, yes, did they probably have some strategies that people weren't that prepared for? They pull out the Ivern mid against Golden Guardians, and then EG, they ban Ivern. They're like, okay, well, we don't want to deal with that. We didn't have time to prepare for that. We'll do that. And then they just bring out another enchanter. And there's so many enchanters in the games, they can keep pulling this out. But I do wonder, our team's going to be able to find a strategy to deal with enchanters? Our team's going to start playing enchanters themselves? Is there going to be a way to stop Cloud9? We will see. But also, teams are going to prepare for it. Teams are going to have some kind of strategy. Cloud9 will have to, prepare other strategies and prepare other picks. And then also, the meta is going to change as the year goes on. This isn't going to be the meta that happens at MSI or at Worlds or even spring playoffs or summer playoffs or whatever. So, will Cloud9 be able to consistently have really good meta reads and consistently have, really good drafts that is able to, even in Fudge's words, beat a team that they thought was just better than them? I think that will also be really interesting to see, because obviously, if you think enchanters are really good and that's just what you're going to keep playing, hey, maybe other teams just kind of don't buy into that and you're able to keep beating them. But if the reason Cloud9 won these games was kind of the surprise factor of their picks and of their drafts, obviously the novelty is going to wear off a little bit, and then Cloud9 will have to pivot again, and that'll be interesting to see, is their second pivot just as good as this one? Is it a little bit worse? Is their third pivot still good enough? And also, how good are these? We're going to find out this next weekend when they play against Liquid and Immortals. Obviously, Immortals not that great of a team, but still a match you need to win. But playing against Liquid, hey, we'll get to see against some of the best players in the LCS what Cloud9 is able to do. Liquid's obviously going to prepare for enchanters. They're going to prepare for an Ivern, for a Soraka, for a Sona, whatever in the mid lane. They're going to have some kind of answer to that. And then Cloud9 is either going to play, standard, or they're going to play enchanters, or they're even going to throw in another curveball. There's not unlimited curveballs to throw out, but that doesn't mean that LS and Cloud9 don't have other tricks up their sleeve. So I think it's going to be very interesting to see. And then, I do wonder a little bit, like, hey, Cloud9, it takes more time to practice all these different champions and all these different comps, and I think Berserker was speaking to that a little bit. He's like, yeah, we're preparing a lot of off-meta stuff, and that's kind of challenging. It takes extra time to prepare off-meta stuff, and then you have less time to focus on, on-meta stuff, or what most people would call on-meta stuff. But I do see that as a little bit of a negative for Cloud9, potentially, if they even care about playing meta. We still don't know. It's only 2 games into the season. But also, I see that as a major advantage for them when playing against other teams, especially during best of ones in the regular season when, other teams have to prepare for Cloud9 and another team. They're probably not going to take the time to prepare for all of Cloud9's possible different comps, and then also prepare for their other match where they're probably going to be playing against a whole different style and whole different meta. So while, yes, it probably takes a little extra for Cloud9, puts a little extra stress on them, it's a little extra pressure, it's maybe some harder scrims or, more time intensive, and you're having to really think about all these different matchups and all these different picks, the other teams have to do that as well. So obviously that's, going to give Cloud9 some kind of advantage there. But also what I thought was interesting from this past weekend was it really seems like, again, we're only 2 games into the season. It's not time to start drawing conclusions or anything like that. But so far, it really seems like they've been able to use these internal scrims and all the players they have around, and LS being able to, hop onto games and play and show people stuff. I know Fudge was using Copy to practice some different matchups and stuff, even in the back room. They're using these internal scrims to, practice matchups, practice all different kinds of matchups. I think they said they had played the Soraka versus Victor matchup, Fudge against Copy, which is awesome and not something that I think a lot of other teams are able to do on a consistent basis and on a high level basis. Fudge said, hey, Copy played that matchup better than Jojo Pune did. How many teams have a second mid laner that can play matchups as good or better than JoJo Pune? You know, not very many. But it's also allowing Cloud9 to hide some of these potential picks and strategies because, you know, usually you have to scrim against other teams. You got to show some of your picks. You got to show some of your strategy if you want to practice them. So then that team knows about it. Sometimes people talk. Sometimes stuff gets out. And then slowly, before you know it, everybody knows about it. But if you're practicing against your own team, practicing against your own players, you can pull out a surprising pick like an Ivern mid, like a Sona support, like a Soraka mid, and actually still surprise some people as long as your players are actually good enough to give you that very, very high level practice. So, you know, so far so good for Cloud9. People are excited. People are tuning in. People are showing the support. Cloud9's pickups have looked good so far. Berserker's been an animal. You know, Fudge mid. Hey, he's played, you know, some Enchanter so far, but so far so good. Blabber looks like he is, you know, really thriving in this situation. Winsome doing really, really well. Summit has been, you know, not super crazy so far, but we'll see. You know, the internal scrims, the whole setup they have seems like it's going well, and obviously LS drafts are 2-0 so far. So a lot to be happy about, a lot to be excited if you are a Cloud9 fan. Even if they fail, even if stuff starts going downhill, even if they, you know, lose to Liquid or lose to TSM or, you know, stuff starts going weird, still going to be a very, very interesting and entertaining team to follow throughout 2022. But man, you know, they're doing some exciting stuff so far, and it seems like fans are excited about that. And when people are excited and tune into the LCS, I'm happy. So definitely drop a like if you guys did enjoy this video. I would appreciate that so much. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think about C9. Do you think they're going to be a strong team in 2022? Do you think they're going to Worlds? Or do you think they cheese their way to a couple of wins and you know, it's all going to come crashing down on them here in the near future? I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions. Subscribe, stay up to date on all my latest content. Hopefully catch you guys in the next one. But until then, peace.